This is a show where we do exclusive talks with successful entrepreneurs from all around the world. You hear their stories, their challenges, and advice that you can use when starting your own business. Take notes and take action. Let's go. Hi, I'm your host Angelo Honao, and welcome to Built Different, episode number 8, how a love for designing clothes can turn into a profitable business. Our next guest is Osvaldo Bort. From doing graffiti at 14 years old to now a studio arts major in City College, Osvaldo Bort successfully launched a clothing brand, Data Made. Though it didn't come easy, all he knew that he wanted to make it out of the Bronx while doing something impactful and true to himself. After a year of research, planning concepts, and gathering funds to start his own business, the chance he took on himself was long overdue. But out of pure motivation and passion, he's managed to expand through building multiple platforms on social media, to which has turned to be the most rewarding time of his life. Stick around to the end for my top takeaways, and without any further ado, here's his story. Before we get into the talk, let's give thanks to our good friends over at Skillshare for supporting the show. Skillshare is a service where you can learn new skills online, such as filmmaking, business, design, or even photography. And there's over 23,000 classes from experts from around the world. Skillshare is honestly a great place to get started if you're trying to expand your current skill set or even learn and try something that you've never tried before. If you're interested in learning a new skill or want to see my top recommended classes for entrepreneurs, click the link below. The first 500 people that sign up are going to get the first 2 months for free and receive an invitation to our secret Facebook community of entrepreneurs. Once you sign up, you'll have access to unlimited premium courses, and if for any reason you don't like it, Skillshare makes it super easy to cancel within your trial period without getting charged. So if you want to learn a new skill and be a part of the first 500 people that get 2 months free, make sure to click the link below. Now back to the show.
My name is Osvaldo Bort, and I created Data Made. It's my clothing brand, and so.
Well, what made you decide to start off that brand? How did you get started?
So how I got started was basically so I've been working retail for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've worked retail for years. Like I'm gonna make like 5 years this fall, right? So it's like kind of like that's like my introduction to like. And I usually work stock, so like that's like my behind the scenes kind of like thing that like usually customers might come in and they see us, the workers, and they might see us like standing around or like whatever. But it's like we're all always doing a function, and like we have to stick to that. And it's like there's so much more going on behind the scenes than people think, than people see.
Yeah.
So usually like growing up, I did like a lot of like graffiti, like a lot of street art, and like off of that, when I used to be like a sneakerhead in high school,
Mm-hmm.
like my senior year, that was when like I was always like buying sneakers, and I was like, I reached a point where eventually I was like, I started going into the sneaker store, and I was like, okay, like it's missing this. Like I think like it could be better if it had this, it have that.
Yeah.
And then out of that, I just started seeing that through like clothing, and I was just like, all right, so this is like an ongoing pattern. It's like it just looks like very like almost a little too corporate. It's like the same formula, for everything.
I noticed that too.
So for me, it was just like I'm like if I can get in touch with like I just thought like maybe if I just made my own personal touch to things, knowing that like I'm from like the Bronx and like just like off of like the whole scene of like being creative, off of like doing graffiti, and just like you can like literally adapt yourself to any environment,
Mm-hmm.
can like match any style and like all of that stuff. That was when I was like, all right, maybe let me take this step, to try to do my own thing, because usually back in high school, like I used to do like names for like all the girls, like it was like nonstop.
What do you mean? What do you mean by names?
So like when I used to do graffiti, I used to do people's names. So I used to do mine, and I used to do it nice, like what I'm saying. I used to be nice at it. I don't do it anymore, but because I apply it to this now.
Yeah.
But before I used to do people's names, and then eventually even sometimes like I had like a few people like started like doing their own names. Sometimes like I had people like wanting to join me and like like doing names like graffiti names.
Oh, like graffiti names?
Yeah.
I'm looking to get a banner that says the Bronx.
Yeah.
You think you could write that up for me?
Of course, that's light work.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, yo. Just like let me know when I'm like going
Yo,
off
bro,
track.
keep going. You got
Alright,
this.
so so yeah. So how I really got started was it was just like one day I was like, man, you know what? It hit me. I was like I was just going through like a really like stressful time, like during college.
Yeah,
I had like
tell me about that time.
yeah. So I had this math class. It was like it was a college trigonometry class,
Hmm.
and it was like the beginning. Like you learn about like a whole bunch of things, but like it's this main variable that like always stays consistent, always remains throughout that always remained throughout the course of the semester, and it was called theta. And there was other like variables too, but theta was the one that remained consistent. And so I was just like I was like always solving this equation, like different equations, whatever, and you're always solving for theta and stuff. So and like theta has different values
Yeah.
and this and that, whatever.
Hmm.
So eventually throughout the course of the semester after like I was just like always going through like going from work to school and then back home and I'm just stressed but at the same time as I'm in college because that's where I spent the majority of my time I was always like getting to know different people and like
Hmm.
understanding people and like through like all the stress like you know college is a time where it's like you'll usually find yourself like you usually like try to identify who
Yes.
you are
Yes.
so after like so I kind of like one day it just hit me I was like man like I feel like I could put everything together so I could put like my skills as like you know like a graffiti artist along with like because I was taking the math course was because I was going to do like my architecture
Yeah.
I wanted to be an architect um and like through like that whole discipline of doing like all those art classes like that like those disciplines
Hmm.
and along with like seeing how the way my people of like the Bronx are like just like on a daily basis like in New York when you're taking the train everybody's just working so hard it's like everybody's just trying to you know identify with themselves in a way everybody's trying to
Yeah.
find themselves along with like everybody that I met in college I was
Yeah.
like so this is like you know it reminds me like the math equation like theta you're just solving for a problem
Yes. Yes.
trying to find the value so
Staying consistent.
so that was that's when I was like it's data made like you know so
And then
um
and that just stuck with you.
yeah I just stuck and I was like and I started telling people like oh it's data made and they were like okay
Ah.
I like it. So yeah.
So what from that point, like how long after did you start the brand?
So it was the summer of I remember vividly it was the summer of 2016 and it actually started off with an idea um that I'm gonna actually reveal later on, because I just want to introduce the brand first. But
Okay.
there's like this hidden feature that like I really wanted to do because I started off wanting to do an app for it, and like after like some technical things, I spent like the whole year of 2017 trying to prepare for it, and
For the app?
yeah,
Oh.
and like it just
Didn't
the
work?
people that I was like that I was working with like it just didn't like you know like they were just basically like they just like quit on me.
Okay.
So I guess like they didn't believe or something. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, but like I was always like I took initiative of like buying like my own embroidery machine. So they could,
Oh,
yeah, like I have like my own machine. Like it's like right here in my room. It's like sitting right
that's
there.
crazy.
Yeah, like it costs yeah. Um, it costs a lot. It's an industrial machine. I just have it like you know. This is how I get like my orders done. You know.
I'm like, yo, hold on. How is he able to test so many different embroidered designs?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
doesn't have to come back to him in a certain amount of time, and it's like,
No,
but
no,
now
no. I
you have
just
your
like
own machine. That is crazy.
yeah, yeah. The what I usually do, I just like I usually contact different manufacturers, and I get like different like pieces of fabric, so I could
Mm-hmm.
just like test them out, and then I like the way I learned about it was to tell the fabrics apart. It was like, all right, so like this shirt it weighs like this amount of ounces. So like you get to feel like which shirt feels like light, which shirt feels thick.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that, and like along like the texture and everything. So I was just like, all right, so now I know to stick with this and this for that.
Okay.
So when I do like the stitching and all that, it's like that's when I could tell like, okay, like this is finally like complete. It's complete. And then after I go through all of that, that's when I'll be like, okay, I'm ready to present this to the people.
Okay.
But I have a lot of samples that like nobody has seen. That like only people like my friends, my close friends, that they tell me that is like it's cool, or whatever. So
that's cool. So from that moment, how did you say, you know what, let's build this as a brand?
So it was usually because of my friends. My friends were always like, "Yo, like, yo, that's actually dope. Like, that's actually cool." And even some of them were even like, willing to pay. They were like, "Yo, like, yo, let me get them." I'm like, how much you want? I'm like, like I don't really know. Like I was willing to give it for free. And in the beginning, I was, and then eventually I was just like, you know what? I think like it's maybe, you know, I was just like, I reached the point where I was like, all right, it's time. Like, if I could really make something off of this, I might as well, like, you know, gain a profit from it, you know? Eventually, like, I wouldn't charge my friends, like, oh, you know, the whole thing, like, the whole thing. But,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Just to be, like, you know, just for support or whatever.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. And you speak about the app and how that was, you know, that was a failure. But you've learned from that failure as well.
So about the app was, so basically, like because the thing is, we always had deadlines throughout the year. It was supposed to start from like March 21st, because I was really big on math and science, which is why I wanted to be an architect. So I was just like, you know what, like, let me start the year off with the first season of the year. Basically, is March 21st, which is vernal equinox, which is spring.
Okay.
And I wanted to start in spring of 2017, but it was just like he just kept pushing it back. And like, and meanwhile, when I'm like relying on this app to be made, I'm over here like making everything. I'm making different samples so I can make sure that on the launch date of the app we can have, you know, content. You know.
Okay.
So when finally from March all the way to December, I was like. That was like the final time where I was just like, all right, that's it. Like it's time for me to like really take initiative and like really do this on my own. So it was like December like 12th of 2017, and he texted me like, because meanwhile, like as I'm like getting my machine and I'm like making all these samples, I'm like, I'm showing proof, like all these pictures. Like I'm like, yo, look, I have this, I have that ready. Like, let me see something. He's like, oh no, don't worry, I got you. And never anything. Like, no. And so basically when this year started, January 1st, 2018, I said, man, you know what? I can no longer rely on people. Like I can't rely on anybody. You know, I kind of just gotta like take 100% responsibility and just take initiative on my own. And so that's when I was just like, I was looking up videos on YouTube. And I was like looking up how to create websites and all that. That's when I started organizing myself. I was like, okay. That's when I started saying, all right, so for every idea, I could like stretch this out amount of time. I could introduce this, you know, this amount of ideas to the people. And that's when, after I created my website, that's when I started like brainstorming about a lot of things.
That's so cool.
So being from the Bronx is like, I have like a really big story to tell, because like there's so much struggles that people don't understand that we go through being from the Bronx, and like it almost feels like you're like set up to like stay here, you know, because it's like it's really hard to make it out. So that's when I'm just like, that's why I also made the summer series that I started on my YouTube channel, just to kind of like and within each episode, I like explain a little bit, you know, bit by bit. And the final episode is when I'm gonna finally do the Bronx. So I could just tell a little bit more about myself.
Yes, so. That's so cool, man. And when did you start the brand? How long?
So the brand officially started. It was this year. That was when I said, all right, I have to introduce Tailor Made to everybody. I created the website, the whole layout. I had to make sure like it was very simple, and straightforward, with just like a little touch of myself at the same time.
Yes.
So that's why, like, on the intro, I just kind of like tell a little bit about myself, and that's when I just like on the second page I have like all the merchandise there.
And
So,
and what's your ultimate goal with the brand? What are you trying to accomplish?
so I want to build a brand because like I know what I'm able to do creatively. So it's like believing in myself is like the brand is just like is my outlet,
Yeah.
So it's my creative space. It's like an artist painting on a blank canvas.
Yes.
So those are my creations. But ultimately, like I just want to reach a point where if I can become like recognized for
Mhm.
doing this, like it can open different
Yeah.
doors. And then the ultimate goal is just like not only for the brand, um, but it's just more so for like so that I can be able to reach a point where I can give back because I know like being in the Bronx is like all I've ever like growing up like I was usually like sent home to like sent to school or whatever like
Yes.
you know my parents weren't really around for like everything so I had to really deal with a lot on
Yeah.
my own so know that like had I had like more guidance um maybe things would have like, went gone different. Maybe I would have developed, different things, at an
Yeah.
earlier age or whatever. So
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, you can be a mentor to somebody else, later on, and you can guide them through that process. Who knows? Walk me through, like, we have a lot of listeners that are looking to be uh, business owners. Walk me through your day to day as a business owner. What do you do from the moment you get up to the end of the day? How
so
does the day look like?
so regardless of like what I do, no matter what, this is like all I think about, So it's like so usually I believe like I'm like the first person to like model like nowadays is like your personality like who you are as a person is a brand within itself so
So,
I got to make sure that like I'm always like in shape
yeah.
so I the first thing I do is like like work out I might play basketball or whatever and the second thing I do is like I check all of like my social media accounts whether it's YouTube Instagram Twitter and my emails.
Mm-hmm.
And just I'm also just like always like thinking about what's coming, in the future and just
Yeah.
prepare for the future.
Yeah.
Because like you literally, as a business owner, all you're looking forward to is just like the next thing, So it's like, so like everything that you set out to do for that period of time after from that point of the release,
Mm-hmm.
you're on to the next thing. So
Okay.
I'm literally like as we speak, like right
Just
now.
thinking and thinking.
I'm preparing, for my fall collection. So it's like once like the fall collection is out, I'm gonna be on the the winter collection.
Yeah.
And right now, being that like I wanted to establish myself as like being from New York,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like make everything like New York oriented. So that's why I'm like even in like the YouTube channel that I have, I do like everything based off New York, like different
Yes.
locations.
Yes. Does that sounds kind of stressful, man? Do you ever get stressed out?
You know what? It's not bad stress. It's actually
Okay.
good stress because like this is something that you're building. So it's like you're something that you're improving, something that
Yes.
you're getting better at. So it's like the bad stress is like when you got like I would say like when you're like struggling to like like pay bills or something. But like this is good stress because like I'm literally like
You're
I'm,
building.
I'm stressed about like like oh my god like what do I make next like you
Yeah.
know like well like is this too much is this too little like what
Yeah.
should I add so it's all good stress for me because
Yeah.
it's like I'm just building
That's so cool, man. And what do you draw inspiration from? I can only imagine. Like you have a lot of designs out. What do you draw inspiration from? Is it from like the places you've been, from the things you see? What do you do?
so being that like I have like my first like my first one of my first principles of like in terms of like discipline
Mm-hmm.
it comes to graffiti is like you can literally see it anywhere and everywhere, like around the world. Like it's global,
Mm-hmm.
and like being like as a graffiti artist is like you're able to blend and match different styles, and you can grab inspiration from literally you can look at something, and like you might like in your mind you like convert it to like a, a,
Crazy.
a form that like it's not even, you're just like thinking about it, you know, it's just a thought. And so actually one of I would say one of the people that inspired me to like do what I do is his name is Tinker Hatfield, and he created like the first I believe it's one some of the first Air Jordan models, and he went to school for architecture.
Oh
So
wow.
that's what made me believe that okay, you can branch out and like and do anything creative
Uh-huh.
once like you mastered your craft, you know.
Exactly.
So if he's able as an architect to make sneakers, design sneakers, you know, some of the most popular sneakers today, is like what how can like what like it made me think immediately like how can I not go for this, you know.
Exactly, right?
um and so like I know I read that like the Air Jordan 11, it was like it was made out of like looking at a lawnmower, you know. So yeah,
Nah.
crazy. If you see the sketch, like it's crazy. It's just like he made a sketch literally, like inspired out of a lawnmower, and he made the Air Jordan 11, which is like one of the most popular Jordans.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so yeah, like that. So
Wow.
what I want to say is like, for me, like when I look at things, like I look like at color, you know, most importantly,
Okay.
and I usually um being that I'm from the Bronx, like the people really inspire me. So like I try to make something that like anybody from like, you know, the Bronx would wear.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah.
yeah, of course, man. And that's so cool that you draw inspiration from different avenues. And I know that it's pretty much been a long journey for you. How on a scale of 1 to 10,
It's
how happy are you that you made the decision to start, and why?
definitely like way past 10, but why is because like every day, like I'm just able to like I'm just happy with it. Like to know that I create something, and like that I did it because like it's really genuine, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, and it's not just for like, you know, just because like, oh, I'm just trying to make a quick buck, you know. It's like it's literally because like it's something that I'm passionate about. um like that to me, like that brings me like all the
Mm-hmm.
joy in the world, and that people appreciate it. Like that's even
Yeah.
more gratifying. So
That is so cool, man. If you were to go like back in time, right? Let's say
mhm,
back when you first started, would you
mhm.
change anything at all? Is it something that you would tell yourself? Is it something that you would like, I don't know, change?
um man, so let me tell you something, man. So back when I was like starting like in 2017 to start off the year, uh when we set out the date, the release date for the app that was being made for March,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even ready. Like I wasn't even ready. I was just willing to like wing it out. And I had like this little embroidery machine like this, and it was like it's called a Brother PE 770, and it basically looks like a little mini sewing machine.
Okay.
And I tried to make it work. I tried to do all my designs and like create the files to like transfer it over to the machine. And every time I would try like stitching it on whatever fabric it was, like it just wasn't working. Like it did not work. And I had so many nights where I would just like I would sleep with the machine like literally like as if it were my pillow like right there like by my side. Um, that I was just like always like saying like, man, just you know try again tomorrow. Just like keep going until it works. And
That's so
so
cool, man.
so yeah, so like honestly I wouldn't change anything. I would just you know I would if it were me going back in time to see like my younger self create all of this, it would just to be like just to admire the hard work and the passion being
Yes.
put behind it.
That's so
Yeah.
cool, man. If just to wrap things up here, let's just give you a scenario, right? If you
Mm,
were stranded, let's say, in a random city somewhere, and you
mm.
only had your laptop and $150 to your name. Like, what would you do at that moment to start again, to start different, to make money? What would you do?
A laptop and $150.
Uh huh.
I'll probably look at like stocks or something to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yo, it can't do much. I mean, stranded on an island with a laptop and $150.
$150,
Yeah, I'll probably look at stocks, man. And just
You can't start. You can't start a clothing brand with $150.
with $150. You know what? You probably can. But the thing is like there's
That won't be the best quality.
yeah. I mean, man, that's tough. That's tough.
That's
That's
a
tough.
tough one,
Tough.
man. That's a
It's
tough one.
tough, man. $150 because you think about it today, it's like $100 itself could just go away so fast. So $150 is like there's so many like websites today that like give you like the platform to like you can create your own designs and then like they can make put it on clothing for you
Yeah.
and like, sell it or whatever.
Oh.
But yeah, like there really is. But like the way you want to present something when it's like your own brand, it's like you're so picky. Is gonna take a lot more than $150
Okay.
and a stranded island to do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'll probably look at stocks, man.
I hear that. I hear that. If you had one piece of advice to give someone that is just starting out in their journey, building their dream, building their business, what would you tell them?
So one thing I would say is like just make sure that this is what you really want, that you're willing to put up with like anything that comes after this. There's gonna be a lot of like times where you're gonna feel like really like impatient and like just like I would really just like almost like you lose inspiration when like when things you don't feel is going your way. But like if you just keep working hard and you just like keep faith and like have patience, it's like things just before you know it, things just start unfolding.
I hear
It
that.
looks beautiful.
Yes, yes. Any last messages, advice, or like shout outs you want to do before we go?
So I want to shout out to my boy Felix, because had it not been for
That's my brother.
yo, he's man, he like I always tell him I tell him this all the time. I'm like, yo, man, if it wasn't for you, I would not be doing this. Cause like when I used to see him, like he was the one who put me on to like started to do graffiti and like skateboarding and all of that. Like had it not been for him, like I wouldn't have been like so openly like expressive, like everything. Like he was the one who like opened the doors for me, like opened my eyes to like, all right, like yo, you can wear this. And like I started wearing like skinny jeans in high school and being made fun of after like taking all that backlash, because I was like a skater or whatever.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, like a year later, everybody wearing skinny jeans. And mind you, I'm in the Bronx, so I'm getting flamed. So, but I want to shout out to my bro, Alexander Mansueta.
Yeah.
Because had it not been for him, I probably wouldn't be this creative, like this discipline with like creativity.
You're making me cry right now, bro.
And
I love that guy, man.
and yeah, man, that's like my older brother to me. Like we were born and raised together, and like I'll tell him this all the time. Like, yo, had it not been for you, I probably wouldn't be doing this. And he's like, man, shut up, man. That's whatever. Yeah, shout out to my bro Felix, and there's so many people I could shout out.
Yeah.
But shout out to like Brandon. Shout out to my guy Juan, my guy Rico. Tony, and everybody showing support.
Yeah, man.
For
Everybody.
Shout out to the whole New York. You know, I do this. Like my inspiration on a daily basis is like when I wake up in the morning, like early to like when I would like go to my job.
Mm-hmm.
I have like 6 a.m. shifts, so I would wake up at 4 in the morning. And when you realize that the whole New York City, how busy it is at 5 in the morning, that you cannot get a seat on the train at 5 in the morning, that is when you're like, you wake up and then you're like, you know what, it's time to work. It's time to work hard. and I do it, and like that's what really inspires me, like to see like all the people that's working, you know, it's like, I'm like, all right, I gotta work twice as hard, you know. So
Yes, bro.
I do it for my city, man. I do everything for my city.
Yes. Shout out your Instagram and your website.
Oh, my Instagram, you can reach me at Osvaldo Bort.
Yeah.
And from there, in my bio, like my page, my brand page, is right there. The link to everything, my YouTube channel, my Twitter, all the YouTube episodes. And yeah, everything is in my bio, so just go to Osvaldo Bort and everything's gonna be there.
Perfect. Man, thank you so much for jumping on this call, bro. I do appreciate it. This interview is gonna help a lot of people, and I just want to thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Here are my top takeaways. Ask yourself if this is really what you want to do. The life of an entrepreneur isn't an easy one. When building a business, there are so many things that we just don't know. You need to be ready to make the product or service, market, and find loyal customers to continue to buy. Be prepared to wear many hats and constantly learn. Have faith in the process. Throughout your journey, you're going to have many moments of discouragement. You have moments where you have self-doubt or begin to question everything. Every entrepreneur goes through these feelings when they first start out. However, the magic happens when you pass all those obstacles with consistent growth. Surround yourself with people that uplift you. Osvaldo surrounded himself with friends like Felix. Felix has opened Osvaldo's eyes to his true potential and has encouraged him to pursue his dreams. It's important to find your own support group for when those days of discouragement and self-doubt come around. That's all for today. If you like what you see, consider subscribing and press the notification bell to be notified when we post. If you or anyone you know would like to share their business story, feel free to send an email in the description below. And if you're interested in the Skillshare 2-month free trial, the link is also in the description. Today's quote: if you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. Napoleon Hill. Peace.